the culture of life and the law. We'll explore that and more on today's edition of Life Matters. Brian Johnston is the Western Director of the National Right to Life Committee. He has served in many capacities while advocating for innocent lives, as California Commissioner on Aging, as Chairman of the California Pro-Life Council, on the board of the National Legal Center for the Medically Dependent and Disabled. And now here's our host, Brian Johnston.
Welcome back to Life Matters. We're your program on the right to life, on what it really is. You see, it's a very important principle of the law and philosophy, but combined together to allow us to live in the society in which we live. You see, our founders said that the right to life is the very first of the inalienable rights. They're not granted by the government. They're granted by your Creator, but the government does have a duty to ensure these rights. That's how you determine a just government. And the very first right is your right to be alive, to not have someone take your life from you without due cause, without due process of law, is what the Constitution says. So the right to life means innocent people should be protected by the law. That's what the right to life is. And today we have a special program. We're going to play this program now, even though we've been in the middle of a recall election. And our last few and our next few programs are dedicated to discussing the recall. We're going to put it aside for the moment because right now in the state legislature, in particular the Assembly, Senate Bill 380, End of Life. Yeah, that's the name of it, by Senator Eggman. SB-380 dramatically expands assisted suicide in California by specifically taking away any of the remaining protections that are ostensibly in the current law. That's right. It removes any protections. And what that means is those people who are medically vulnerable, we tend to think, because it's how it's marketed, someone needs to have a condition where they're about to die. They have to be within 6 months of death. But in fact, that isn't how assisted suicide has been applied. We're going to talk about that more in this program. But first, you need to know that Senate Bill 380 is on the Assembly floor. Every Assembly member in the state will vote on SB 380, End of Life. And we urge you to contact your state Assembly member and urge a no vote. Please do not remove the remaining protections. The fact is that there's no psychological counseling offered when assisted suicide is put into place. That should be the very first thing offered, because everyone, not even psychologists, you don't have to be a trained psychologist, but every trained psychologist does know that a desire for suicide indicates a deeper issue. When people have suicidal ideas, that indicates they need help. They're in desperate straits. And there's no psychological counseling offered when these people, many of them are ill. If you've ever been in a nursing home, they're very depressing places. And you're told constantly, you don't have long to live. That's kind of the message in a lot of nursing homes. So once we allow medical killing for depressed patients, Katie, bar the door. And that's the unfortunate thing about SB 380. It removes all the remaining protections. So we want to urge you to contact your state assembly member. Each and every one of us have our own state representative in the assembly. Please contact them regardless of their political affiliation and urge them to please not remove the remaining protections regarding assisted suicide. Urge them to vote no on SB 380. You can look up your assembly member by Googling California legislature, find my legislator, and put in your address. They'll tell you who it is. They actually want to hear from you because you're the person and the people in your district. You're the ones that give them their job every 2 years. They want to hear from people in their districts. So it's critically important that you contact your own assembly member. This is coming up quickly. The legislature is about to convene, and we want to make sure they hear from conscientious people that expanding assisted suicide is exactly the wrong way to go. We're going to talk further about the issue of assisted suicide because many people don't understand what it really is. But we want you to know that this measure must be stopped. It is Senate Bill 380. It is in the state assembly. You can contact your assembly member by Googling. Just go to the web, go to the state of California page. Just look up State Assembly, California, and look up My Legislator, and you'll get a direct contact information for your state assembly member. So you can also go to California Pro-Life webpage to find out more. When we come back, we're going to talk about the problem with assisted suicide. We've talked about it in the past. There are many people who do not fully understand how killing, medical killing, which is what this is being marketed as, well, this is something you want. And, well, this is what they want, so let's just give it to them. It's the exact opposite. I'll explain to you that, in fact, the ultimate decision maker is not the patient. When you talk about physician-assisted suicide, the ultimate decision maker is the doctor. And doctors, up until just recently, had always sworn to never harm a patient, and in particular, never kill a patient, even if asked. So in assisted suicide, the ultimate decision maker is the doctor. Let me just give you an example. If a doctor is asked, hey, doc, I think I can't handle this anymore. Please kill me. It's now up to the doctor to make a decision. And the wise decision is, well, let's talk about this. Let me know more about what you're sensing. And that doctor talks to the patient, finds out what's really going on. Oh, it's this pain or whatever it is, or my emotion. I can't handle waiting to die. That good doctor will then walk that person through it and either personally get them to adjust their emotional state of mind or refer them to someone who can help them. But the fact is that a doctor decides when you die. They can say, you know, I'm not ready to help you with that. I'll come back tomorrow. Or they can say, no, all right, it is your time. I will now give you this poison. The state also allows those who can't self-administer to be killed by others. So this is a very serious issue, a very serious abuse of medicine. And there are many, many vulnerable patients whose lives will be taken by this law if we don't address it. It doesn't really empower the patient at all. It empowers doctors to kill their patients, which is a direct violation of the Hippocratic Oath and the history of medical ethics. So when we come back, we'll talk more about the question of assisted suicide, why you should care about it, especially right now in our society. We're being confronted with a very serious worldwide medical emergency. And in some cases, some people have proposed just disposing of patients, as Governor Cuomo did in nursing homes, as Governor Gavin Newsom did in nursing homes, that there's a class of human beings that you don't have to care for. In fact, it's better that they be out of the way so that they're not carrying that problem and so that they are not a problem. So when medicine is used to kill, we are living in a very dangerous society. Senate Bill SB-380 is on the assembly floor. Contact your assembly member. Urge a no vote. We'll be right back.
Life Matters continues after this.
This is Brian Johnston of the California Pro-Life Council. Wherever medicine has been used to kill, it's proved impossible to control. Please help us stop assisted suicide in California. Go to stopassistedsuicide.com. That's stopassistedsuicide.com.
Are you willing to step up to be a lifeguard? We're asking you to consider becoming a Life Matters lifeguard. On Life Matters, we cut to the depths of this cultural battle of ideas that has robbed America of its core values and robbed the innocent of their right to life. Anything you can pledge is appreciated. But if you pledge $19 a month, we will make you part of the Life Matters lifeguard team, getting you the important tools and dynamic information to help save lives and encourage others in understanding the lurking dangers in today's deadly cross-currents of culture. Your pledge helps us with our costs of broadcast. It keeps the full understanding of the right to life going out over our numerous radio stations and also facilitates the important podcast that carries even more programming. Please go to the front page of the Life Matters website and click on the donate button. Your donation is deeply appreciated.
Life Matters is sponsored by the California Pro-Life Council, the state affiliate of the National Right to Life Committee. To find out more on how you can help and be involved right where you are, go to californiaprolife.org. That's californiaprolife.org. We'll tell you how you can get involved in your local community, how you can be effective if you want to be a pro-life speaker. We have training programs and open doors of opportunity for you to speak on the life issue. If you'd like to donate your car or a boat, you can do that at californiaprolife.org. Car Easy makes it easy, and you find that on our website. We get the most of any donation program. Car Easy allows us to get the most out of your car. Maybe you're not getting the trade-in value you wanted. Maybe it's just not running the way it used to. Let your car be used for life. Go to californiaprolife.org and find out what you can do to make a difference. californiaprolife.org.
Be sure to subscribe to the Life Matters podcast with Brian Johnston. Go to lifematters.life to subscribe. And now back to more Life Matters with Brian Johnston.
You're listening to Life Matters, and we're talking about assisted suicide. There is now a bill on the floor of the California Assembly. Senate Bill 380 removes any of the existing protections on assisted suicide in California. It's legal in California. People have already been killed and are being killed, but now any pretense of limiting or controlling it is going to be removed by Senate Bill 380. We're urging people to contact their state assembly member and ask for a no vote on Senate Bill 380. Many of you know that I've been involved in caring for people that are vulnerable and have served in the state of California on the State Board of Medical Examiners of Nursing Homes. I've also served as a California Commissioner on Aging. So this is not a foreign issue to me. And some of you know that I have written a book on assisted suicide where I go through some of the most common fallacies that are used to promote medical killing. And we can touch on some of them right now. One is the problem of pain. By the way, I agree. Who wants to be in pain? That's a universal desire. People don't want to be in pain. They don't want their loved ones to be in pain. Very quickly, if you or a loved one are in pain, then the solution is simple. It's 3 words. It's not kill the patient. Get another doctor. Because the resources are available to deal with even the most difficult of cancer pains without putting someone into a stupor. And that's fully documented. If you're not having pain addressed by your physician or by a physician overlooking your loved one, get another doctor. Don't succumb to the pain. And you don't need to kill the patient to kill the pain. So it's very important to understand that the deeper issue that many people don't understand is the emotional pain. The emotions are the most powerful part of this argument, and it's the emotions that must be addressed. So let me talk about that for a minute. Emotions are so powerful. There's a great book, and I say it's great. It's by a secular psychiatrist, a Swiss psychiatrist, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, wrote a book, and her observations have become coin of the realm. They're part of our culture now. She established the 5 stages of grief, and she was talking about getting a terminal diagnosis. And she's right. Nobody likes that news. So she pointed out, as you'll recall, one of the first stages is denial. I can't have cancer. This can't be happening to me. Then anger. Anger at the situation and the helplessness that comes with a terminal diagnosis. Then bargaining. Well, God, if you will take this illness from me, I will join the priesthood. God, if you do this, I'll do that. I'll bargain with you. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and deep depression. When you realize, nope, you're not getting out of this. People will then go into a very deep depression and really want to get it over with now. But that's unfortunate. And Kubler-Ross, who is an expert on death and dying, in fact, that's the name of the book. On Death and Dying, you can still buy it. On Death and Dying. She opposed assisted suicide for this very reason. The goal is acceptance. But first, people have to go through those stages. And her point was to write to psychologists and help them understand this is what they exist for, to help people go through emotional stages of life, and they all come together when you've got a diagnosis. And she pointed out this is the best time to get people to accept life. And so that's the goal of her book on death and dying, that you can reconcile to what life is really about. Those who seek assisted suicide simply want to get it over with. They are in one of those earlier stages. And she adamantly opposed the use of assisted suicide because, among other things, not only is it an abuse of medicine, but more importantly, it denies people it might be their first chance to grow up. Now, I don't know about you, I won't give away my age, but I know a lot of older people who are in fact emotionally still children. They're absorbed with themselves and their own emotions. And the goal of an effective psychologist is to do more than just make people feel good. It's to get them to grow spiritually and emotionally. And that's what Kubler-Ross found, that system of the 5 stages help people through it. Now, I'm probably going to need help when I get a terminal diagnosis. Maybe I won't, but the reality is we're going to need personal involvement from others. And that doesn't mean killing someone. You know the word compassion? The word compassion literally means to suffer with someone. If you're compassionate, you share in their suffering. They're calling killing a patient compassion. That's not compassion. That's getting rid of them. That is getting rid of suffering by simply eliminating the human being. That isn't bearing their suffering, and that's what compassion means. You know, when it comes to helping people as they die, well, that's what Mother Teresa did. That's what good hospice does, is it helps people as they are dying, as they're facing their last days. You can help them even more than drugs. And there are drugs available to help if there's any physical pain. And that drug doesn't need to put people into a stupor. That's an abuse of those drugs. No, there's ways to help them, but the most important way is the emotional support and comfort. Investing personal time is perhaps the most costly if you have to pay a very expensive nurse or doctor. The fact is, it's really friends and family that are trained and understand and go through with the situation, with that person they're suffering. That is historically how society, a just society, has always treated the medically vulnerable. But the proposal now is to kill them. And now that is expanding in California. Senate Bill 380 would remove any psychological counseling, removes the timeline that had been in place, removes many of the supposed protections that are in existence now. It's all oxen-free, and they're allowing medical killing without the existing protections in California law. That's Senate Bill 380. We urge you to contact your state assembly member. Ask them to vote no on Senate Bill 380 so that your state assembly member in Sacramento, you can look that up on the web, say, find my state representative on the web, and it'll lead you to a page. You put in your address, it'll tell you who your state legislator is. They do want to hear from you, by the way. It doesn't matter their political party. But we do not want medicine to be used to kill the medically vulnerable. A lot of things we could talk about here, but the fact is that real hospice, good hospice, is not medical abandonment. Some people think it is. I was at the original St. Christopher's Hospice, which was founded in the 60s, and it was designed to help people as they're dying because medicine was not doing a good job. So the real purpose of hospice is to help someone as they're dying. It's not to kill them. You know, Mother Teresa helped people as they're dying, but she never killed them. And watch the language, by the way. Very often, Hemlock or those who promote assisted suicide, they'll say, we just want to help people. We just want to help them to die. Wait a second. Mother Teresa didn't help people to die. She helped them as they died. When you do something to cause a death, which is what Hemlock Society and assisted suicide does, and again, it's not really a suicide because it's a third party, usually that physician, sometimes another party, but they're the ones that are making the decision. Yes, I'm going to bring this poison. Yes, I'm going to be an implementer. Or they could say, no, Mom, let's talk this through. Let's see if there's some way we can address this in another way. The decision maker is that third party. It's not truly a suicide. It's being facilitated. That person may desire death at that moment, But desires are transitory, and we can help people with their emotions. This is an extremely dangerous bill. We know that wherever it's been legalized a lot of places. You can look at the example of the Netherlands, of Belgium, where now they're killing people that have nothing wrong with them. They're killing children without parents' knowledge or consent. They are also killing people who are simply non-compos mentis. That is to say, if they can't make their own decisions, well, we're loving and kind. We'll make the decision for them. We'll be compassionate and kill them. So I said, no, compassion means you care for and you bear the suffering of another. Killing is not compassion. If it's true, then, gosh, the Nazis were very compassionate. If you have my book, Death as a Salesman, What's Wrong with Assisted Suicide, by the way, you can get that on Amazon. But on page 110, there's an actual clipping from the New York Times of October 8th, 1933, and this is what the headline says. Nazis plan to kill incurables to end pain. German religious groups oppose move. So the Nazis, they wanted to end pain. And you know, those poor patients, they were incurable. It doesn't say anything about Jews there, but this is exactly what they were doing, is preparing for cleansing the culture. And in fact, they had a whole program at that time called the T4 program, Tiergarten 4, an address in Berlin. That's where they headed up the program. And they offered this cure. They would kill the incurable to end pain. They would also kill World War I veterans who were incurable. Mustard gas was a terrible illness, and the scars were awful, and they could only be hospitalized. So the answer was to end their pain by killing them. So there were World War I vets. There were those they considered imbeciles, those who didn't meet a certain trajectory of what it meant to be a good Aryan. So they were doing it to help cleanse the Aryan culture. And then later on, it was applied to the Jews and the Gypsies and the Poles. So killing in the name of mercy, killing because someone is incurable, that's not a good answer. And yet that's being proposed, and that's essentially what assisted suicide does. It's actually the perpetrator, the third party, who walks away. The patient doesn't get anything out of this except being dead. So it's an extremely dangerous proposal. It's now on the floor of the State Assembly to take away any remaining safeguards of California's assisted suicide law. The bill is called Senate Bill 380. It's on the floor of the California Assembly. Please contact your state assembly member. You can look them up, contact my assembly member, Google it any way you want. You have a state representative in California. They're about to consider this law. Please urge them to vote no on SB-380, End of Life. That's how it's called. It's by Senator Eggman. I've met her. She is an avid proponent of using medicine to kill.
If you have questions or comments for Life Matters, call 800-924-2490. Give us your name and the town you're calling from and a quick question or comment. Life Matters continues after this.
Well, hi. I just wanted to thank you for joining me. You know, I have good friends, children, young adults, and adults that have Down syndrome. And they are so loved. Their parents love them so much because they're the happiest people you'd ever want to know. I really love them. I'm going to tell you something, though, that's rather frightening. The government of France has now prohibited showing positive images of Down syndrome children and letting parents know how lovable they are. That's an actual law in France. Here in the U.S., 80-some-odd% of Down syndrome kids are killed by abortion before they're born. In France, it's 96%. So we're not a whole lot better. If you'd like to help out, you can go to the National Down Syndrome Society, ndss.org, to help out. That's ndss.org. We really are in a battle of ideas, and lives really are at stake.
You know about our car donation program at California Pro-Life. We use one of the most respected programs in the nation. Go to the California Pro-Life page. californiaprolife.org. Scroll to the bottom and click on Donate My Car. It's that easy. Did you know you can also donate any vehicle, boat, motorhome, or even personal property? If you are nearing retirement age, you can also get a tax deduction by earmarking a portion of your upcoming compulsory distributions from your 401k. Just email us for information. California Pro-Life is fighting to equip California pro-lifers with understanding and the tools to again protect the unborn and other vulnerable innocents. Thank you for your help in this battle. Go to californiaprolife.org. That's californiaprolife.org for more information.
And now back to more Life Matters with Brian Johnston.
We're back, and you're listening to Life Matters. Many of you know, too, in our program, we talk about abortion, and that's exactly what abortion is. If you understand Roe v. Wade and Doe v. Bolton, it's basically an instruction to use medicine to kill the unwanted babies. Oh, maybe there's some babies you want, that's fine. But the ones we don't want anymore, medicine will kill them. That's what Roe v. Wade and Doe v. Bolton legalized, and that's a violation of the Hippocratic Oath. And that's where we saw this change in our culture first happened. On January 22nd, 1973, it was unheard of before that for doctors to kill any human being. Doctors intentionally killing any human being, deeply alarming. In fact, in World War II, the way that was addressed was that it was an American prosecutor. It was the Americans who led the prosecution against the Nazi doctors. There was a separate trial, the Nuremberg medical trials, where they were tried not for invading other countries, but for killing their own patients, their own citizens. So this is a very dangerous turn culturally. The bill in the California legislature right now is Senate Bill 380. It removes remaining protections on assisted suicide. Please contact your state assembly member. You can look them up. It's your assembly member you should talk to their office. Let them know one way or another, by phone, by email. Leave a message with their staff. Tell them you want to know how they voted. You're deeply concerned. Please vote no on Senate Bill 380. Vote no on SB-380. It's going to the state assembly, and your action is required. Thanks for listening to Life Matters, and this has been an important update on California legislation.
Learn more about everything in today's show online at lifematters.life, where you'll find all the resources you need to protect life. Life Matters is a production of the California Pro-Life Council, the state affiliate of National Right to Life. Wherever you are in the nation, you can find out more at National Right to Life. You can find vital pro-life information and also find the access to your state and local Right to Life affiliate. Get informed and get involved.